Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I am doing another speed build. If you're interested in this build, you can download it off of the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. So it has been a while. Sorry about that. Yeah, I haven't been here for about a little over a month, I think. So it's definitely kind of weird sitting down after not having recorded for this long. So like I'm all nervous, like my heart is racing. I'm like, oh no, but it's gonna be cool. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Okay. Gotta get the nervous energy out first. Okay, the first goal, scare away any new people. Are they gone yet? Okay, good. Now we can be absolutely normal and mundane. Okay, anyways, like, oh god, it's like I've never been gone. I'm just as like crazy as ever. But I am building a 2-bedroom home inspired by the new Laundry Day stuff pack. Because I did get it. I did not do any like thing really for it. Like this isn't a Laundry Day and base game only build, although I'm still thinking of doing that, especially because I went really modern. Like I like how the Laundry Day stuff pack is like kind of rustic living. We got wicker furniture, and I'm just like, let's go modern. Who needs wicker? Somewhere down in my notes I wrote down modern bohemian as the style for this, which I then realized just means hipster. So I guess that's the style that I went with. But I also built on a diagonal because I'm a masochist. Like I haven't been building in so long and I'm like, let's start off with a diagonal. Let's just be mean to ourselves today. Oh my gosh. But we're finally here. Now, if you're wondering what happened, why were you gone so long, you obviously don't follow me on Twitter, or you follow me on Twitter, but you didn't pay attention. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's good to see that the energy is still absolutely insane. Okay, got this. So basically what happened, kind of the main thing with it was my hedgehog died, which was not fun. He passed right on the last day of the year on 2017. He had this sort of like wound almost in his ear, maybe more of a lesion, I would say. And he was about 3.5 years old, and just we really didn't have any options for him other than to kind of take him out of his pain. So that really sucked. And I had already been feeling kind of depressed, and it just really I kind of nosedived a little bit. So I'm fine now, yes. I'm still pretty sad about it. He was my first pet that I had like on my own, like no help from my parents type thing. So he was kind of like my baby. His name was Calcifer, which was kind of also another reason why, not specifically his name, but I got his name from Howl's Moving Castle, and that was what my next build was planned to be, was Sophie's Hat Shop from that. So I'll get to that eventually. I was even making some CC for it, and so I was just kind of like, yeah, I need to take a break. So I took a break, and now I'm back, and now I'm hoping to move forward. I also did want to just briefly talk about depression, just because I have a relatively large following, and I think it's like, I feel like I talk about my anxiety a lot on this channel, or I've mentioned it in passing, or I've gone into detail about it, but I haven't really talked about my depression, and that's because I have very mild depression. So most of the time it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of just like background noise a lot of the time, and so sometimes I'm feeling more depressed than others. I'd say it's maybe like 3 days out of the month. It's really not that bad, It's really the anxiety that like takes center stage. Also, I'm just building the shape of the house right now. I just realized that I'm literally just talking about anything except for the house, but it took me a while to get the shape down because, like I said, diagonal. Also, this house is too big for this lot. That's always my problem. But anyways. Okay, so depression. I've been kind of diagnosed with depression since I was I think 17. I'm 24 now, so quite a while. I've been on medication since I was about 17. I forget exactly all what, but I finally found a medication that really works, and it's the same one that a couple of my family members take because the depression is genetic in my family. And so all in all, it's been pretty well controlled. And like a lot of my family members, like before they tried this medication, like were suicidal at certain points in their life. And I've been very lucky that I've never been suicidal myself. So fingers crossed, because that does not, that I'm good. I'm good without that life experience. Thank you. But yeah, so that's kind of what was going on. I thought I would just like briefly mention it, especially because I know in the past when I've talked about my own like mental health issues, other people have felt really comfortable, because it's still kind of a taboo issue in our society when it really shouldn't be, because so many people have it. And also it's just kind of biology in a lot of ways / society and the pressures that the modern human is under. So yeah, that sort of thing. But now let's move on to happier things like the build, which I've hardly talked about, and I just gesticulated my hand into a lamp. It didn't hurt. Although today at work, oh my gosh, I like bent my thumbnail. It was really painful. My coworker winced. But anyways, so I really love the color scheme, how it turned out for this build. It took me a little bit of effort just because I wasn't quite sure what was going where with how angular this thing is, which I mean, that's the point. It's called ACUTE Cottage, making a wordplay on the angle acute, which is a small angle. So, you know, it kind of works. It's kind of a small build, but it's called an ACUTE Cottage. I actually came up with 4 name ideas, just kind of like, I don't really know what's going to work. And I had Twitter people vote on it, and they picked Angular Brookside, but like the moment I posted it, like Gavin Sims was like, oh, how about ACUTE Cottage? And I was like, well, shoot, I already made the poll. Like, you couldn't have told me this beforehand. You couldn't have read my mind, known that I was going to make a poll, and then saved me the effort of that. I waited for the poll to finish, like, all 24 hours. And I was like, so you guys voted for Angular Brookside, but have you thought of this? And then you guys voted and you picked ACUTE Cottage. I don't even know. I feel like half the time I ask people for advice and whatnot, it's just like, I mean, a lot of the times when you ask for somebody's opinion, it's usually because you just want them to tell you the opinion that you've already chosen, but you now want some outside justification for it. It's too true. But the color scheme almost was about to be the same as the outside on the inside, but instead of that teal color, I actually went with more of a navy. And so this is kind of a rough color scheme, definitely a rough angle, like the kitchen. Oh, the kitchen. I built on an angle. Everything else is actually surprisingly not on an angle. Well, except for, is the living room? No, just the kitchen, which honestly is like the hardest thing because the counters don't fit. Why do I do this to myself? Oh my gosh. But I loved using those new windows. I wanted to use them a lot more, but they're huge. I don't think we've ever had a 4-length window before, haven't? 4 is in the number 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, not floor. But laundry day stuff pack was stuff we voted for, and if I had things gone my way, we would have had all the new window and door options that they offered us. Because I'm a builder. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. At work the other day, we had a customer, and I was like, oh, what do you do, for work? And he's like, oh, I'm an architect. And I'm like, oh my god, I play The Sims. Sorry. And he looked at me, and I'm like, I mean, not that it's the same thing, I know, but... And I could just see the look in his eyes, and I'm sure he's heard it before too, but he was just like, what are you even, I'm like, I went to school for this, and you, okay. Ooh, I just lost a little bit there. I'm gonna have to go back, post-edit, and like turn down the laugh volume on that, because that was really quite loud. Really quite loud. But other than, I haven't really been doing much lately, like nothing out of the ordinary. I'm trying to think. I've still been doing yoga, although not as often. They took a week-long break for the last week of the year, and I have never recovered. I have not yet recovered. I was going like pretty religiously twice a week, sometimes even 3 times, and now I'm like once a week. So hey, we'll get back into it. But I still have a couple fun stories from yoga, because it's like, other than work, yoga is like the only time I get out in the world. So that's what you guys get to hear, is yoga stories. So buckle up. I only have 2, but you know. Also, I loved how the diagonal here allowed me to like put that coffee pot really close to the fridge, like it would actually be in real life, not just like in the middle of the counter. And the towel rack that we got, precious. Love it. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, yoga. So, first of all, for Christmas, I got a yoga mat. I had picked it out on Amazon. It's amazing. It's like a specific thing. It was kind of a splurge. It was something that, like, it was kind of my splurge Christmas present. And so I love it to death. But it's made out of natural rubber. And so I really had to air it out for a few days. It still kind of smells a little bit if you put your nose right to it, which you do in yoga. You do put your nose right to your mat, just so you can smell that beautiful, smelly foot sweat. Can't leave any stone unturned. Moving on. But so it smells, the first time I used it, like at my yoga studio, we do group work, which I'm not a huge fan of, because no, I actually don't want anyone else's foot smell on my mat. That's my foot smell mat. Thank you very much. Like, get your feet away from my mat, but whatever. I just deal with it, because that's what you do. When you're in a public setting, you can't throw a tantrum. Okay. I'm very opinionated about this. I feel like most people are, though, so I'm like not alone. But so we do group work, and this poor woman, she goes to, like, we're using my mat, and she goes to like sit on it, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry if my mat smells, by the way. And I'm just like, no, I mean, because like when you say your mat smells, your immediate thought is, oh God, this person doesn't clean their mat. So now this person has just set foot on my mat. So then they're like, oh no, she just said her mat smells bad. How much of her foot stench is on here? Like, how much foot sweat am I about to get on my own feet, which I clean regularly. Thank you very much. But so like I immediately backtracked. I'm like, no, I mean, it's new. It's like made out of fresh rubber. I it was just so awkward. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe I said that. But I did. Love this new light bulb. Made my own little chandelier, and because this was only a 1-floor build, which I almost never do, I was able to raise up the lights and not have it like clip through to the next level, and so I made like a fancy chandelier. I'm very pleased with myself. But this is kind of the master bedroom. I mean, it doesn't have an ensuite because there's only 1 bathroom here, but it's bigger. I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out. Oh, is this on a, this one is on a diagonal. Okay. It's not just the kitchen. I can remember things, sort of. But I had a lot of fun with it. I pulled out the city living murals, which I haven't done in a while. So that was fun. I've never used that one. It's got like the weird king dude, and I think there's a bridge or something. And I almost was like, kind of like, oh, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, but it's one that I hadn't really even ever seen before, so I was like, let's go with this one. It's kind of fun and edgy, it's kind of hipster vibe. Get going on it. Also, this is one of the closets we got from Get Together, and it doesn't work on the diagonal. You can't place walls around it just because of it snaps to the grid, kind of like coffee pot would, snap to a countertop. So when you go to place a wall, it just makes a weird opening in the wall, and then there's like a few inches of like blank space, and then it's like, oh hey, I'm here. Like, I'm a closet now. I just needed a couple inches first, a preparation. So it's a freestanding closet, and I like how it turned out. I ended up putting some stuff on it, which I thought I love clutter. But here's the kitchen. Oh, the kitchen, it's the living room. I had so much trouble with this. I think I left in most, if not all, of my struggle. No, I think I cut out a lot of my struggle. I had so much trouble with this. Partially because the color scheme is so dark with the walls and light with the rug, and then I wanted to go, the only matching like new like wicker furniture is dark and white, and so it's just kind of, it was stressful. I felt stressed. But I did keep in some of the stuff I did. Like I tried to make this into an L-shaped couch. It just wasn't working. I finally ended up solving the dilemma by, instead of having it be a square living room, I took away some of the carpet, and I've just got like, I made this little strip along that the fireplace runs along, and I thought that worked out really well. So I did actually have a little bit more yoga stories to tell, because like I'm telling you guys, there is not much to my life other than work, yoga, practicing the piano, my boyfriend, and sometimes I write stuff. Oh, and YouTube, and that's it. But I can't talk about YouTube to you guys because it's boring. Like when I'm in the real world, I can be like, oh, and I have a YouTube channel, and people are like, what? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is information. Or they're not, but I think they are, and so I just say it anyways, which honestly I would not doubt. But yeah, so anyways, yoga. So I've mentioned this quite a few times before. My yoga studio is mostly inhabited by old ladies. Old ladies. Like white hair old ladies doing handstands, no joke. But there's this instructor, I didn't really like her because like the main instructor is on vacation, so she was a temporary instructor. So she was like talking, and she's like, and none of us are 24 anymore, you know, like when talking about like some sort of like variation of a pose to help like your shoulders or something. And I just kind of look at her, trying my best not to laugh. I'm just like, but I am like, I'm 24, and so she kind of looked at me funny because I was probably looking at her funny, but I don't think she caught on. And so afterwards, when we did the variation on the pose, she turns to me and she's like, Penelope, how was that for your shoulders? And I was like, fine. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I guess maybe she thought that I had shoulder trouble, but I was just like, I'm 24. You just said the whole room like we're not 24 anymore, but I'm 24. Okay, anyways. Okay, I told you I had 2 yoga stories, but I technically have 3. But I promise it's a funny one. I feel like you guys are like, oh my god, shut up. But it's my first time back in a while. It's gonna be rough, guys. But this one's pretty funny. It involves some physical humor, which is kind of the best. So, oh my gosh. So at work, they know I do yoga. They make fun of me a little bit for doing yoga, kind-heartedly. So my boss got us all Christmas gifts, which was really sweet of her. Very sweet. But she got me, no joke, the world's second heaviest yoga mat. And it's a very nice yoga mat. I haven't actually used it yet. I really should. Either that or return it. But it's so heavy. Like, and so she just got me like this gigantic heavy yoga mat, and like she wrapped it herself too, really clumsily in paper. And like, you know, everyone at work got like, you know, a present. And so I just have this giant yoga mat, and I had to like carry it home. It was really intense. It was really intense. But now you might have noticed I said world's second heaviest. Well, I spent a lot of time joking about how heavy this yoga mat and how impractical this yoga mat was that my boss got me, and how, you know, it's still really nice, and I'm really appreciative of the gift, but it's just so heavy. Like, so heavy. The yoga mat that I picked out is heavier. I have the world's heaviest yoga mat now. It's a lovely mat. Lots of cushioning. Fantastic. So heavy. Oh my gosh. It's like it's like an exercise it's not, I was about to say it's an exercise to like carry it around. No, that's not the true exercise. The true exercise is getting it into the gosh darn bag. Like, I have a special bag, and then my old yoga mat was no problem with this bag, but this yoga mat is like, no, I don't want to go in the bag. Stop. No, I have amazing traction, so I catch on everything. Oh, you thought it was, oh, why is this pause? Sorry. It's pause. Yeah, okay. So, but like, world's heaviest yoga mat. Well, funny me, I took it home on the ferry. I live in Seattle, and so I took a ferry. It's a 1-hour long ferry, and so I took it for Christmas, and so I got the world's heaviest yoga mat for Christmas, and then I carried it home, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff, and it kept slipping and falling out, and oh my gosh, it was the worst. I felt like, oh, it was awful. It was awful. My boyfriend basically had to come rescue me, but anyways, we spent a lot of time not talking about the build. I love this bedroom. I love the color scheme. I love the mural. I have used this mural before, but I especially loved it in this. The only downside to the murals is they degrade over time, even when they're indoors, which is dumb. But whatever. Okay, Sims team. But I've been wanting to use this like neon light sign, or it's not technically neon, but this like arrow sign ever since we got the size down tool. Because like, yes, it's so cool when it's sized down. When it's normal and big, it's like, what do I do with this? Okay. Sorry, I had to burp. I feel like I've had to burp for a while now. Whew, okay. I got really excited just now. But yeah, so I did actually remember a story to tell you guys that involves me going outside. Again, I go outside, like, basically, I go outside almost every day, but it's only for work and yoga, like I said. But, I went to an actual chocolate factory. What? There is what's called the Theo Chocolate Factory in Seattle. It's a Seattle-based chocolate factory, and it's a bean-to-bar chocolate factory, which is so cool because they literally get cocoa beans and they turn it into chocolate. And you might be like, yeah, that's what they do at a chocolate factory. Like, Penapple, what are you even saying right now? Like, this is not interesting information. Of course, but actually, most chocolate factories take as like the already like manufactured, like I guess kind of like chocolate liqueur, whatever they call it. It's like a specific mixture of like coffee or chocolate. Have I been saying coffee? I might have been. I meant chocolate. And they then use that to make their chocolate. But this one, like they start from the bean, and it's so cool. If you ever go to Seattle, like go to this. It's only like, I think $10 per person, and you get to eat some free samples. It's not as cool as it used to be, because I had been on this tour before, like back when I was in high school, and like when I went on this tour, admittedly it might have been more expensive. I don't know. My parents were paying for me, so I had absolutely no concept of money. I do now, unfortunately. But yeah, and so like we actually got to go on the factory floor, and like they gave us a whole bunch more like truffle samples. But since then, they've built like an observation room for the factory floor, which makes a lot more sense. It's a lot safer. Probably insurance is a lot less expensive with that. But anyways, it was still fun, and I highly recommend it. Also, you can just go to their sample or to their like store there and just sample a whole bunch of stuff. It's delicious. Anyways, I'm like a walking advertisement. I really like chocolate. I eat way too much chocolate. But when I was there, chocolate has one of its main components is theobromine, which is a molecular, like molecule. Yep. Science. I have a chemistry degree. I promise. And so the tour guide was talking about that. And so me being the nerdy, like validation seeking person I am, after the tour, I went up to him and I was like, did you know that the theobromine molecule is almost the exact same as caffeine? It only has one hydrogen bond difference. And he was like, yeah, or well, he knew it was similar to the caffeine molecule, but he was like, oh no, I didn't know it was one molecule. And I was like, yeah, that's why people often will get head migraines, related to caffeine consumption. Those same people will often get them related to dark chocolate consumption because the molecules are so similar. And he didn't know that. And then I felt like a very smart cookie, and like I deserved an extra truffle. He did not give me an extra truffle. It was very rude. No. You know, I think I'm picking up a little bit of my workplace humor. We're all like that, and all day. Like oh my gosh. one of my coworkers was talking to a customer, and he was like, yeah, I mean, it's a small like workplace, but we really don't see each other all that much, you know, throughout the day. We're all kind of, you know, doing our own thing. And like right as I was walking by, and I was like, yeah, that's because he's terrible. And then immediately he turns to me and is like, oh, Penelope's like sucks. The customer is just like laughing, and that is my workplace environment. I have really long hair. It is a like almost a daily occurrence that my hair gets tugged, which I do not like. It hurts every time, and they still do it. I'm not too beat up about it. I once told a story about how my coworker threw trash at me, and I had a very lovely and kind-hearted commenter who was like, you should really go to your boss about this. Like, this sounds like workplace harassment. And I was like, I did tell my boss about this. She laughed. I was also laughing as I told the story, but that's just my workplace, so. But I am surprised I have this much energy this far into the build. I'm really actually proud of myself. Because like it's hard to do a voiceover straight through, but I accomplished it by basically not talking about the build. I mean, in the end, really, like I'm kind of looking at my notes. Yeah, I didn't have much more to say except for why aren't diagonal stairs a thing? Dear Lord, if you want that, the deck outside the kitchen, if you want your sim to be able to hop on that straight from the outside, you can actually lower the foundation by one like step. But then it's all gray, and I wanted that color variation, so. But they can actually step up onto a diagonal foundation that's only one step up, even without stairs. So that's cool information I did not know. We'll probably maybe not use that in the future. But we are coming up on the end of the build. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to give me a like, a comment, and subscribe, especially if you're interested in being notified as to when my next video is. Hopefully next Saturday. We'll play it by ear still. I'm still kind of like getting back into the groove of things and trying not to be too hard on myself, especially because a lot of you very sweet people told me not to be. So thank you all very much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!